Hello, and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. In this video, we are going to be having a mud truck showdown, and I've been waiting a while to do something like this, because not only do we have a proper mud park with a mud pit, we have two monster mud trucks ready to go. We have the re-released Hades Duramax Mudtruck, which I'm sure you guys remember, and we also have Frog's Cummins mud toy, basically, and I'm very, very excited to pit these trucks against each other and see what they can do. Now, there are really no modifications that I wanted to make to the Duramax other than the roll bar in the bed and the side steps, because I think it's a little bit more realistic. And the dodge is as it comes from, you know, just loading into the game, because there's really nothing much you can put on it that actually does anything. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get the trucks over there and see what they can do. Now, I am going to drive this truck around for a little bit because I want to kind of get familiar with it, because I haven't driven it in a long time, and I want to know if they've done any updating to it. Oh God! All right. So if this thing's going to go through mud, it wants to go slow. Some of the mud trucks in this game are like that. Like, some people, it basically depends on who codes everything. If it's somebody that pretty much prefers that style, then they're going to be a slower mud truck that's going to have a lot of grip only when it's going slow. If there's somebody like Frog, for example, they're going to make their truck fast. And it just depends on how you set the truck up. Now, going along, though, this thing is really, 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 really good to... It's really good to drive. It's the suspension is very absorbent. It's super easy to drive. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall over or flop on its side. It doesn't feel bouncy. It doesn't feel like overly. It doesn't feel like anything out of the ordinary. It doesn't feel like strange or weird to drive. Now, when you throw it in high, if you have enough grip, it'll go. The problem is that most of the areas that you're going to be able to put it into high, it's not going to have enough grip, and it's just going to dig, as you can plainly see right here. Now, in automatic mode, it's pretty good. It's not the best automatic mode in the world, but it is a decent automatic mode. The reason why I say it's not the best in the world is because it does have a tendency to kind of, especially going up a hill, it does have a tendency to stop and then kind of think about what it's doing before it puts itself in the right gear. So, with that being said, it's not the greatest automatic gearbox in the world, but it is good. And I've gone the wrong way. I need to turn around. The interior view is actually pretty hilarious, because they've done a better job on this truck's interior view than most of the trucks you'll find in this game, especially a lot of the mud trucks. I don't mean mud trucks like in a bad way. I don't mean to say that a lot of the other mud trucks are done crappy. I'm more saying that the mud trucks usually get all the detail put into the suspension, and then the interior is just kind of left to sit there, or it doesn't really have a modeled interior at all, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, these trucks don't really need to have a modeled interior. I mean, pretty much nobody uses that view anyway, but at the same time, it's cool that it's there. Now, where is the... Okay, so it's going to be on the right. I was like, did I lose the mud pit? Like, where is it? Alright, we're headed straight for it now. Oh, wait. We headed for the front end of it or the back end of it? Hold on. Something wrong here. Is this the right mud hole even? I feel like I'm going the wrong place. I don't know. I feel like I am going to the wrong place. Yes, I am going to the... What is this? I should have known that it was under the watch point. It's where it always has been, you know what I mean? Alright, let's refill it. And while this thing is faster in most scenarios than the other truck, faster doesn't always mean it's gonna be the last to get stuck. Alright, so this guy's ready. And unfortunately, the Hades Duramax is non-recallable. So we're going to have to drive it all the way back over there. So I'll pick up with you guys when we're back. Well, guys, here we are at the actual mud pit itself. with both trucks, and I'm trying to figure out which one I want to drive in first, because I've driven the Dodge in this mud pit before. I drove it in here recently, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it first in the Chevy because I want to see what this thing is like. Now, as far as how far it'll get in high, it probably won't get very far at all. But let's try it in high, see how far it goes, because it'll probably get stuck really, really quick. So I want to see how far it goes in high before it either starts spinning or stalls. And after that, we're going to throw it in automatic, and then when it can't go any further in automatic, we're going to throw it in low. Oh, come on. Feathering the throttle in high actually works really well. It works better than I would have expected it to. Let's throw it in automatic now, because I feel like we're going to get better results. Half throttle in first gear works really well. I mean, it's not dramatic and it's not fast, but it's very effective. Very, very, very effective. It just sticks with what it needs to do, no problem. My only question is, about half to 3/4 of the way down, this mud is gonna sink like crazy. It's already starting to. You could see it getting a lot deeper right now. Ooh. Now the frame is actually in the mud. All right, that's low 2, and that's where I'm going to leave it, because I could start to see, even at half throttle in automatic mode, it was starting to spin some. But in low 2, there's no drama, no spinning, and it just goes. My question is, can it keep that going all the way to the end? You know, just trying to get from one end of the mud to the other. Average Monday. I mean, oh God, I almost shifted it. That's bad. That's really bad. That would have been horrible. Just crawling along. And honestly, there's actually a little bit of anxiousness here on whether or not it's gonna sink more and just stop moving. But once it gets through those flags, I'm gonna consider it have like made it all the way. So, and I know that the Dodge can make it halfway down in high, but the rest of it, I've never actually attempted to even go the rest of the way in the Dodge in low. So that could be a win for the Hades. We're not sure yet though. Like that's gonna be a really interesting result. God, the ruts it's leaving are just so massive. So massive. It's funny, you don't really realize how much of that like oil you see in the water until after you go through like a muddy area or something in this game. Like, if you don't really spend too much time driving through water, you don't really notice how much the game actually shows the oil in the water. Home stretch now though, but you can really tell that the truck is having to push its way through this really, really thick mud. I mean, Frog made no compromises towards the end of this mud pit in terms of making the mud absolutely formidable. Like, just so, like, the mud is the true enemy here. And you are literally having to battle against it. You're having to battle against it constantly. I love how this thing tries to rev up, and then it's like, nah, I'm going back to, like, idle. I'm just idling along in low 2. Come on. It's so close. And see, this is where you get impatient, right? This is where you want to throw it in high, but you know that if you throw it in high, even if you throw it in low 3 now, that you'll just sink. So you have to be patient and leave it in low 2, which is painful. It's so painful to do. At least for me, anyway. I mean, I'm kind of impatient when it comes to like mud in MudRunner. I love to just. That's why I like trucks where you could just throw them into high gear or Tomcat gear and just blast through everything. And I understand that that's not always the most realistic option, but at the same time, you still can't deny that it's a little it kind of sucks to you know, to have to leave it in low 2 for so long. We are almost there, like 10 feet now. Oh my god, we are about to go through that gate. We are about to go through that gate at the very end of this mud pit. Oh, it started to spin for a second. Oh, I got really scared. I got really scared. And there's the front axle. Once the rear axle passes those signs, it is across and done. Woo! So that is going to be a success for the Duramax. Now, the only thing we have to do now is see if it's also going to be a success for the Cummins or not. So let's start it up and see what she can do. Full commitment in high until we can't be in high anymore. A lot faster than the first bit, and then it's going to hit a wall right here. Put it in low 2 and just stay in low 2. Now, this truck sinks a lot more than the Duramax does, but the pace isn't all that different. I didn't think that the tires on this were that much smaller than they were on the Duramax, but I guess they are. I guess they're really small. God, this is such a slow go. It's such a slow go, dude. Like, oh my god. It really doesn't want to get anywhere. Like, oh. I'm sure it will do it. I'm sure it will do it. But, oh, at the end of the day. So, it's like, this is one of those moments where you go, like, so, you read any good books lately? Well, I'm just going to, because all I can do right now is drive along in this mud and leave my truck in low 2 because, wow, it is really acting like it's going to stop. Like, it keeps hitting these little mini hang-ups. This is definitely slower than the Chevy. Like, when it comes down to it, in low range, in the mud, this is slower. Like, look, the speed didn't change. I dialed it back to low 1, and the speed didn't change. The Chevy just sailed along fine in low 2. This thing is actually spinning and struggling in low 1. That is really bad. That is really bad. I mean, I'm sure it will make it across the line, but I'm still going to say that the Chevy won. In my opinion, like, dude, the Chevy actually decimated this thing. The Chevy was just better. I mean, and that's not me, you know, saying that Chevy is better than Dodge or something like that. That's just me saying that the Chevy was better, and it was noticeably better to the point to where, like, I look at it and I go, wow, that's a major difference. And you could feel it struggling. Even in low 1, you could feel it struggling. That's really, like, it makes you think, right? Because technically this truck should have, like, more grip because it's like a massive dually. But at the same time, the tires are not as big, and the mud is basically just rolling over the front tires. The front tires aren't even barely visible. So it's having to push everything, you know, with the bumper, basically. And I can see, obviously, you can see how that would slow it down. I mean, look, the bumper is on the ground. The bumper is in the mud. It's having to push so much mud right now. Almost there. Almost there. The front axle is about to cross the line. And what feels like years later, the front axle is about to cross the line, and then the rear axle is about to follow it. But I'll tell you something, guys. The Chevy decimated this battle. Way better in the mud when it comes to the deep stuff. Way better in my opinion. I still love this truck. I still love all of Frog's trucks. But man, at the end of the day, that Chevy just, wow. In the deep stuff, it really did do a really good job. So, if you guys enjoyed this video and this mud truck battle, make sure you click that like button. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it, and let me know what trucks you would like me to pit against each other. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time. Talk to y'all later.